Hi, I'm David Hooks. Welcome to Newswatch Scotland. Whether it's on the news, in comedy programmes or being deliberately not mentioned, the biggest news in UK politics in a generation is Brexit. Brexit. It's everywhere. It's chaos. It's a mess. The UK is leaving the European Union and it's taking Scotland with it, even though we voted to remain. Most experts agree that Brexit will damage the Scottish economy. The Fraser of Allender Institute, the go-to academics organisation, estimates up to 80,000 Scottish jobs will go, and Brexit will cost every person in Scotland as much as £2,000. Without access to the Erasmus scheme, EU funding and EU students, our universities could find themselves in a precarious financial position. Since the EU referendum, the BBC has tended to cover Brexit by conflating it with other issues. Let me show you what I mean.
Ostensibly a row over the price of fish, but in reality a proxy for conflict over the EU and the coming elections.
While it's right to highlight the effects of Brexit, in the hands of BBC Scotland, Brexit is part of a double act. It's almost always accompanied by fishing.
Scotland's political parties are gearing up for a busy week of campaigning ahead of this week's local election vote on Thursday and next month's general election. Meanwhile, the row over the place of the fishing industry in Scotland during Brexit negotiations continues.
The row began with a controversy over the future of Scotland's fishing fleet after Brexit.
What next for Scotland's fishing industry during the Brexit negotiations?
Much of the fishing industry was very keen on Brexit.
What they're in essence saying is that Brexit offers a sea of opportunity for the fishing industry, and it was...
Conservatives are claiming fishermen can see right through the SNP, saying that the party is hypocritical over its stance on the EU's common fisheries policy.
BBC Scotland has focused on the fishing sector like no other since the EU referendum. Brexit and fishing is the BBC's double act, but why? Because the Scottish fishing sector is the most Eurosceptic sector in Scotland. It sees Brexit as a means of blocking the access of foreign fishermen to UK waters. This is why fishing was such a key issue in the post-Brexit snap election.
Politicians are hoping to land your vote in this general election. The SNP and the Conservatives are still embroiled in a row over the EU's common fisheries policy.
Well, they are contradicting themselves because they want to be within the European Union, taking us to the brink of an independence referendum to ensure that we are within the European Union, where common fisheries policy is part of the acquis, part of the membership, but turning around to our fishing communities and saying that no, we won't be in the CFP, or we can have a reformed CFP.
The SNP was hammered relentlessly over the party's pro-EU stance, despite it being consistent with both the EU referendum vote in Scotland and their entire political history.
No foreign fishing in our waters. Is it going to be completely banned once we leave the London Convention?
Well, fishing in the immediate area around our waters, 6 to 12 miles, yes, we will be saying that we are taking back control, and we will in due course...
No French, no Spanish boats at all in those
We will
waters.
have control. We can decide the terms of access.
The message was simple. Brexit means no more access for foreign boats. That headline is from a Danish newspaper on the evening of August 3rd. It completely undermined the case for Brexit in terms of Scottish fishing. It was a massive story. How would BBC Scotland report it?
The UK Environment Secretary Michael Gove has told Danish fishermen that their boats and vessels from other countries will have access to UK waters after Brexit. Last month, Mr Gove told the Andrew Marr Show that no foreign boats would be allowed to fish within 6 to 12 miles of the British coast.
That was broadcast by the BBC at 1:30 on August the 4th. It's short, but it's being reported. By tea time, it'll be a much more in-depth piece reflecting its significance, won't it? Reporting Scotland's evening broadcast didn't show it. There was no mention of Michael Gove's revelation. The issue that had accompanied Brexit stories for months was suddenly deemed not newsworthy anymore. Why? When it comes to the BBC, what they don't report is often more important and revealing than what they do report, especially in Scotland. As ever, please draw your own conclusions.